Did you read page 147 and 148 again? Last week's homework?
Yeah.
We had done it last week. But we did 147, 148. I just told you to read it again. So we'll begin with page 149. Who wants to go?
Himanshu is going to read it.
Vasistha continued. You are the knower of all, the self. You are the unborn being. You are the supreme Lord. You are not different from the self which pervades everything. He who has defended the idea that there is an object of perception which is other than the self is not subjected to the defects born of joy and grief. He is known as a yogi. He who is confirmed in his conviction that the infinite consciousness alone exists is instantly free from the thoughts of pleasure and is therefore tranquil and self-controlled.
Okay. Yeah. So this is a repetition from so many weeks. I cannot say just last week. Yeah. When you become very clear that it is only the self, yeah, and this mind is nothing but Maya. And you get freed. You get freed of all that bondage that is self-created. You have created your bondage, remember this. Yeah? Whether it is money, whether it is name, fame, a beautiful woman, a handsome man, yeah? Your own kids, your own parents. This is all self-created bondage. Yeah? All this is Maya that I have created out of my own craving, yeah? My own sensory thirst. When I drop this, I recognize this Maya and drop this and establish myself in that one thing that it is all the self. Everything changes. Yeah, today I read a very beautiful line by Swami Ramdas. He said, everything changes once you become a witness of all the drama rather than the actor in it. I'll repeat it again. Everything changes once you become the witness of all the drama rather than the actor in it. Yeah. Withdraw from this thinking that I am the one who is going through this. I am the one who is suffering. I am the one who is experiencing. You have got lost in a role that was given to you. You were only given the role of Aruna. You were only given the role of Sakul. You were only given the role of Jayashree. Yeah? You have started taking it seriously. It was only a role to play. Yeah? He says, now drop that role also. Take one step back and recognize I was acting. Now I become a witness of everything that is happening to this actor. Yeah. Then only can you be liberated. There is no other way. Then only can you be free of joy and grief. There is no other permanent solution. Yes? Let's read ahead.
They who are well versed in scriptures declare that the fictitious movement of energy in consciousness is known as mind, and the expressions of the mind, like the hissing of the snake, are known as thoughts or ideas. Consciousness minus conceptualization is the eternal Brahman, the Absolute. Consciousness plus conceptualization is thought.
today's session is very important. We are going to do 8 equations, very important equations. Yeah? So, best if you write them down or mark them in your book. Yeah? So, the first one, mind is nothing but fictitious movement of energy in the consciousness. Yeah? What does that mean? Mind does not exist. It does not have an existence of its own, an identification of its own, an individuality of its own. It does not have it. Yeah? It is that consciousness only, that self only, that moves inside, that has the first thought, and that is what we think is the mind. That is what we have labeled as the mind. There is nothing like the mind. It is just the fictitious movement of energy. Yeah? So we'll read that line again. They who are well versed in the scriptures declare that the fictitious movement of energy in consciousness is known as mind. And the expressions of the mind, like the hissing of a snake, are known as thoughts or ideas. Yes? So it is nothing but an expression of what I thought is the mind. Yeah? Again, mind is not real. Yeah? So first thing though, mind is not real. Then it's hissing, which is a thought. That is also unreal. Do you get it? 2 parts to this. Recognize this, that I think that the mind is real because I am lost in this Maya. Yeah? I am lost in this acting. The moment I separate myself from that actor and just be a witness, I will also see how the mind drops. Yeah? But this separation only is a challenge right now because I am lost in the Maya. Yes. So first I have to develop certain qualities in me. No? Most important of them is vairagya from this Maya. Then only can I step away from the Maya. Without vairagya, I am not going to step away from this Maya. Are you getting it? Yeah. So first of all, you need to develop this. Me saying this, Vasistha saying this, Guruji saying this is not going to work. Reading scriptures, listening to all this is not going to work. Going and meeting Guruji and running after Guruji 100 times is not going to work. Yeah? It is your inner cultivation of that vairagya, of that dispassion from this world, recognizing that I am lost in this Maya. When I become dispassionate from the Maya, can I separate myself from that acting that I was doing, and I can be a witness. Then only will this mind drop, will this hissing of the mind, which are thoughts, drop. Yeah? So that is the most important line there. Yeah? Next equation. Consciousness minus conceptualization. You understand conceptualization? Concepts in the mind. Yeah? I like this. This is the kind of person I am. Whatever label I have put on myself. Angry, sad, happy, handsome, beautiful, intelligent. Labels I have put, no concept. Consciousness minus conceptualization is equal to Brahman. Consciousness plus conceptualization is equal to thought. Okay, now understand this conceptualization. Where did it begin? What was the first concept?
I am.
I am. Yeah, that I came up. I am something different than everything else. That was the first thing that came up. And that conceptualization led to thought. Yeah? That's the beginning of the mind, the birth of the mind, if you want to call it. Yes? And then, of course, it went on. I am this, I like this, I want this, I don't want this, and that's how we created the samsara out of that I. Yeah? So the first three equations are absolutely clear. We've done this repeatedly in Vasistha until now. So I'll read that again. Consciousness minus conceptualization is the eternal Brahman, the Absolute. Consciousness plus conceptualization is thought. A small part of it, as it were, is seated in the heart as the reality. This is known as the finite intelligence or individualized consciousness. Yeah? It means that little part within Brahman, yeah, that said I, yeah, that is the individualized consciousness. It separated itself out. Yeah? It says I am something different from everything else. The I became individualized. Yeah? However, this limited consciousness soon forgot its own essential conscious nature and continued to be but inert. It forgot that it was Brahman. Yeah? And it became tamasic because of the first I, because of that individualization. It then became the thinking faculty with reception and rejection as its inherent tendencies. Thinking faculty, you understand? Yeah? Then thoughts started coming up in the first I only. Then I like, I don't like, I want, I don't want. That is that thinking faculty, the birth of that thinking faculty. And what was its strongest tendency? I like and I don't like. Raga and dvesha. Reception and rejection. These are the inherent tendencies that started right at the beginning. Right at that first I. You see how the birth of the mind happened?
Yeah, can I say something?
Huh.
In a gross way, it's almost like the individual mind, because of this thing happening, just stayed in one place and started to rot, and the stink coming out of it are the thoughts and things like that.
You heard his explanation. But it's so perfect, no? Yeah.
We couldn't hear properly.
No. He said that in a gross way to explain this, the mind is nothing but something that started to rot, and the stink that came out of that rotting mind were thoughts and concepts and ideas and I like and I don't like. That is the stink of the mind. He calls it the individualized consciousness. Beautiful explanation. Okay. We can read ahead.
When this inner intelligence is not awakened, it does not really know or understand anything. And what appears to be known to the thoughts is, of course, not the reality. These thoughts themselves derive their value from consciousness. On account of this borrowed intelligence, thought is able to know a minute, fragmented fraction of this cosmic consciousness. The mind blossoms fully only when the light of the infinite shines upon it. Otherwise, though appearing to be intelligent, thought is unable to contemplate anything real. Even as the granite figure of a dancer does not
you understand the mind really has no existence of its own. It cannot stand on it by itself. Whatever is the consciousness really. Yes? It is that consciousness only that is lost in Maya, and it is the mind basically right now. Yeah? So the mind by itself, the thinking faculty, like Aditya described, that which started rotting has no individuality really. It cannot comprehend or understand that which is superior to it. The individualized consciousness cannot understand the Brahman consciousness. Yeah? Because it actually works on that. It cannot really see what is greater than that. It cannot comprehend something greater than itself. Yeah? We cannot do something which is beyond our potential. Yeah? Our body, our five senses, our hands, our legs can only do so much. Yeah? We cannot do things that probably a dinosaur could do. Yeah? We cannot run the way a dinosaur could run. If there were really flying dinosaurs, the way they hunted or the way they were, we cannot exist that way. Because of the limitation of this body and mind, we cannot understand how it would be to be a dinosaur with that kind of energy, yeah? With that kind of strength. So, something which is not in my potentiality, I cannot understand it. I can only think about it or dream about it, but I cannot really understand it. Are you seeing what I'm saying? I cannot comprehend it. Just like that, the mind cannot really comprehend the self. It exists because of the consciousness, or it shines because of the consciousness. But it cannot really understand everything. That is what he wants to say in this paragraph. We look at it again. When this inner intelligence is not awakened, it does not really know or understand anything. And what appears to be known through the thoughts is of course not the reality. These thoughts themselves derive their value from consciousness. On account of this borrowed intelligence, thought is able to know a minute fragmented fraction of this cosmic consciousness. Yes, mind does not have its own entity. It cannot understand and know everything by itself. Yeah, whatever little bit it understands can never be the comprehension of the total. Yeah? A drop in the ocean can never comprehend how huge and vast the ocean is. Yes? It's just like that. The mind cannot understand. Thoughts will never be able to understand in words or comprehend intellectually what the consciousness is. That is what he's trying to say. The mind blossoms fully only when the light of the infinite shines upon it. Otherwise, though appearing to be intelligent, thought is unable to contemplate anything really. Even as the granite figure of a dancer does not dance even when requested to do so. So basically again he is repeating, mind does not have its own individuality, it exists because of the consciousness. And he's given many examples. Can a corpse get up and run? Does the figure of the sun carved on a rock dispel any darkness? Basically the mind does not have its own existence. Similarly, what can the inert mind do? The mind appears to be intelligent and active only because of the inner light of consciousness. Clear so far? Yes? Now we'll go to the most important part.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When you say that the mind does not have its individuality, that is true about the body, about the intelligence. Anything is immaterial without the consciousness. What's so special about the mind?
Why he's saying it? Because people think on the path of jnana that by reading the scripture I will be able to comprehend the Brahman consciousness. Through words you will not be able to comprehend it. Yeah? That's why he's just taking it on himself to clarify this again and again. Through the mind you will not get there. Through the intellect you will not get there. Yeah? These are just mini steps so that the self-inquiry begins and you go within. Consciousness can only be experienced. Yeah? Can you understand? It's just like trying to understand taste in words. Oh, this is sweet. Yeah, okay, sweet. But what does it mean? If you've never had sweet in your life, you will not be able to comprehend what another person is talking about. What is sweet? It's just a word. Do you get it? Only if you have tasted sweet, and I have tasted sweet, then we can talk to each other about what sweetness is. Right? Do you understand? Exactly, that's what he wants to say.
Yeah. So it is that we are trying to train our mind to go inside, and it is our mind which is preventing us to go inside, right? So mind is still playing a big factor because it is preventing us to go inside, and it is lost in all the external world. So we will go to self-inquiry with the help of the mind, right?
Yes, perfect. So these are only like steps, mini steps. You want to become a doctor, you actually go to school, you actually pick up the books and study. But by reading the books, you cannot really perform a surgery. Yeah? That happens in the end. After so many years of study, after so many years of watching, observing, and then practicing. Yeah? So these are just words. Scriptures are only a sign word. Sakul, that way. Sakul, go there, go there. It's a constant reminder for the mind. Yes, and scriptures are only for the people who are intellectual kinds. I've told you this before. Yeah, there are people who are totally in the heart. Yeah, they are the devotees. They are not so much into words and scriptures. For them, singing, dancing, being happy, thinking about God is good enough, and then they go that way. Yeah. So because we are the intellectual types, yeah, words make more sense to us. So through the mind, killing the mind. That's what we are doing. Yeah, the mind does not want to die actually, but that's what we are doing actually. Yeah.
Ignorant people misconstrue the movement of life force to be the mind. In fact, it is nothing more than the prana or life force. But in the case of those whose intelligence is not fragmented or conditioned by thoughts, it is surely the radiance of the Supreme Being or Self. That identifies itself with certain movements of life force in the self by entertaining notions of this am I, this is mine, is known as the jiva or the living soul. Intelligence, mind, jiva, etc. are names which are used even by wise men. Such entities are not real. However, from the absolute point of view, in truth, there is no mind, no intelligence, no embodied being. The self alone exists at all times. Because it is extremely subtle, it seems not to exist, though it exists.
Yes, he wanted to bring you to this point that only the self exists. Everything is just like a dream. Nothing else exists. Yeah? So what he's saying is your mind, your intellect. Yeah? The jiva means this body, this individualized consciousness that took a prakriti, yeah, and is going through lifetimes is a jiva. Yeah? This jiva, mind, intellect, and prana or life force, none of this actually exists. Yeah? Only the self exists. Only the self is. So your next equation is, he says mind is equal to prana is equal to self. Yeah, that's what he says in the little paragraph. Ignorant people misconstrue the movement of life force to be the mind. Mind equals to prana. That is what an ignorant person thinks. But in fact, it is nothing more than the prana or life force. But in case of those whose intelligence is not fragmented or conditioned by thoughts, it is surely the radiance of the Supreme Being or Self. Yeah. So, on the path you must have noticed I have changed a lot of things that I used to say before. Yeah. Initially, to bring you in, I used to say different things. When you are here, I said different things, and now when you've really graduated to this level of Ashtavakra, we've changed everything. Yeah? So that is the beauty of scriptures. When you graduate at that level, what you left behind is not useless, but it was a different level of understanding then. So it was okay to call it prana and life force energy, and you are modulating this life force energy, and that will really calm your mind. Yeah, doing all those things. Yeah. Initially, Ashtavakra also said, do this, do that. Yeah, Patanjali said, do this, do that. Towards the end of Ashtavakra, he said, drop even meditation. Yes, because even that is acting. You are lost in the actor. Drop even that. Just be a witness. You remember? Yeah. The most dangerous Ashtavakra, Ashtavakra 32. Yeah. So, all knowledge changes with the way you graduate as you grow on the spiritual path. So, initially you thought, oh, it is just the prana. If I modulate my prana, I will modulate the mind. Fantastic. Yeah, good. It was good to begin with. But now, when you've grown wiser, you see that it is nothing but the self. There is no mind, there is no prana. Yeah? Initially, it was difficult to comprehend self. What do you mean by self? What do you mean by consciousness? But now you have started understanding this, right? So now Vasistha is taking you there. The next is the most beautiful equation. Can you see it right from there? Equation 5. Reality. In reality, there is no mind, no intelligence, no jiva, only self. The intelligence that identifies itself with certain movements of life force in the self by entertaining notions of this am I, this is mine, is known as the jiva or the living soul. Intelligence, mind, jiva, etc. are names which are used even by wise men. Such entities are not real. However, from the absolute point of view, do you understand what he's trying to say now? Yeah, from the absolute point of view, all this is not real. But we still use it to help people slowly climb up the ladder. Yes, initially we talk about jiva, we talk about prana, we talk about mind, we talk about the intellect as if they are separate entities that exist. Yeah? It is just like climbing up the stairs. But when you are at the top of the stairs, all the steps that you left behind are not important. Where you are is the destination. That is all that really means something. Yeah? That is the self. That is all there is. Yeah? Clear? Equation number 5 is clear? In truth, there is no mind, no intelligence, no embodied being. The self alone exists at all times because it is extremely subtle. It seems not to exist, though it exists. Clear? Go ahead. Who will read the next page now?
Vasistha continues. A thought arising in the Supreme Being is known as individual consciousness. When this consciousness is freed from thought and individualization, there is liberation. The seed or the soul cause for this world appearance is but the arising of a thought in the infinite consciousness, which gave rise to the limited finite individual consciousness. When consciousness thus moved away from its utterly quiescent state and became tainted, as it were, from thought, the thinking faculty arose, and with it, the mind thought of the universe.
Okay. Again, this is the next equation. Equation number 6. Consciousness / Supreme Being / Self. It is all the same, huh? You can also do / Brahman / Purusha / Atma, Paramatma. Okay, whatever words you know. All that consciousness plus thought is equal to individualized consciousness. Yeah? Brahman plus thought is equal to the Jiva. Yeah? Or you can even call it the Purusha, but still not in its entirety. Jiva is better. Yeah? You become individualized. You got lost in the I. Yeah? That is equation number 6. Equation number 7, consciousness or Supreme Being or Self minus the thought is equal to liberation. So we'll read that again. A thought arising in the Supreme Being is known as individual consciousness. Got it? Consciousness plus thought is equal to individual consciousness. That's the first line. Yeah? When this consciousness is freed from thought and individualization, there is liberation. So consciousness minus thought is equal to liberation. Got it? In the first 2 lines only are the 2 equations.
That's the consciousness of an individual being we are talking here.
Yes.
Minus the thought.
So when you drop thought, you remember before this, constantly Vasistha kept telling you, drop seeking. Yeah? So he's saying, drop this thought. You are individualized consciousness now. You are the Jiva. Yes? But the moment you drop the thought, you get back to the self, what you are, the Brahman, the Supreme Being. Because the Supreme Being plus thought is individualized consciousness. The moment the thought drops, you go back to what you purely were. Yeah? It's it's very beautiful to understand this, but you have to really start practicing this now, huh? When we had the nice seeking session, you went on and on and on with questions. Yeah, I saw your emails. But now drop. Enough. Even this sending an email, asking an answer is seeking, no? Even wanting to be here in this session is seeking, no? The ball is already rolling of your life. Just roll with it. How difficult is it? It's okay, however, whatever comes on the path. Sometimes the grass will be green. You'll be rolling on nice green grass. It will be nice and soft. Sometimes it will be a very hard pavement and it will keep hurting you. Sometimes it will be a bed of thorns. It's okay. It's still rolling. Drop this fear of, if I don't seek, how will life move? This is your only fear, really. Life moves. It does not need your permission. Really. Understand this, recognize this, and just go with the flow. The ball is rolling. Drop seeking. Moment to moment to moment, a thought arises, you drop it, you surrender it. Again it arises, again you surrender it. A thought of I like, surrender it. A thought of I dislike what is happening, surrender it. It's okay. It's absolutely okay. The problem with your mind is that you cannot drop this controlling thing. I am controlling my life. Drop this. You are not in control. You think you are in control. You are just messing it up. Because you think you are in control, you are messing it up, really. Yeah? Drop this control feverishness in your mind. Yeah? Drop this seeking. Face your fear. Your biggest fear is of losing control of your life. There is no other fear that you have. That is why you cannot stop seeking. Yeah? Drop this fear. It's okay. Yeah? What is. Yeah? Again, I'll remind you what Ramdas said. Yeah? Rather than being an actor, you just be a witness. Be a witness to the acting that body-mind complex is doing. When you become a witness, everything changes. Yeah. The seed or the sole cause for this world appearance is but the arising of a thought in the infinite consciousness, which gave rise to the limited finite individual consciousness. When consciousness thus moved away from its utterly quiescent state and became tainted, as it were, from thought, the thinking faculty arose, and with it the mind thought of the universe. Got it? Till now it was just I am different. The moment it said I am different, the mind was born, and then it started saying I want this, or I am fire, I am air, I am space, and that's how the universe came into being. And after that, I want this, I want that. That's how everything has come into being. This is the power of Maya. Yeah? I have explained this before in an email to you. This is called Mahamaya, yeah? Or Parashakti. This is where the power of Mahamaya or Parashakti actually started unfolding. started showing what it is. Yeah. Yes, we can read ahead.
O Rama, by the control of the life force, the mind is also restrained. Even as the shadow ceases when the substance is removed, the mind ceases when the life force is restrained. It is because of the movement of the life force that one remembers the experiences one had elsewhere. It is known as mind because it thus experiences movements of life force. The life force is restrained by the following means: by dispassion, by the practice of pranayama, by the practice of inquiry into the cause of the movement of the life force, by the ending of sorrow through intelligent means, and by direct knowledge or experience of the supreme truth.
So he says, O Rama, by the control of the life force, the mind is also restrained. Yeah? So that is why we do pranayam, Vasistha, Kriya. All this is what we are actually channelizing the prana. Yeah? So your next control of the life force is equal to mind restraint or mind cessation also, he will say ahead. And how can this be achieved? I'll move this way. Is this clear? It can be achieved by pranayama, vairagya. Yeah, pranayama is the same thing what Patanjali called abhyasa. Yeah, so abhyasa, vairagya, vairagya, dispassion, inquiry, yeah, self-inquiry. Who am I? Who am I finally? What is all this? What is this mind? What are these emotions? From where has all this come? What is the purpose of life? Yeah? All this is inquiry, self-inquiry. Yeah? Intelligence here means actually jnana. Yeah? Through the path of jnana, trying to understand intellectually. Yeah? That is jnana. That is intelligence. Yeah? And the last one is truth. Yeah? What is truth? Satyam. An actual experience. Yes? How will the experience happen?
Through meditation.
Through meditation. Yes? Actually experiencing the truth. These are the 5 ways that Vasistha has said. We'll read that again. O Rama, by the control of the life force, the mind is also restrained, even as the shadow ceases when the substance is removed. The mind ceases when the life force is restrained. Yeah? So, modulating this prana is what he is saying in this sutra. It is because of the movement of life force that one remembers the experiences one had elsewhere. What is the meaning of remembering experiences?
Is experiencing the 5 senses through different ways.
Yeah, but how do you remember that? What do you call that faculty? Memory. So he's saying memory is not a faculty that exists by itself or something separate the way you think it is. Are you seeing this? He's saying it is nothing but the life force or prana. The movement of energy in consciousness is mind. The movement of energy in consciousness is memory. The movement in consciousness is prana or life force energy. The movement of energy in consciousness is intelligence or the intellect. Yes. There is nothing else besides the self. that energy.
Consciousness.
Yes. So everything is the self. Got it?
But so it's interesting that even the memory is movement of energy.
Absolutely. That's so amazing, no? It could have been missed, that beautiful sentence right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It is known as mind because it does experiences movements of life force. The life force is restrained by the following measures: by vairagya, dispassion; by pranayama, abhyasa; by inquiry. Look what is it saying: inquiry into the cause of the movement of the life force. Yeah? How this energy inside the consciousness even moved in the first place. How did I say I? Who am I? How did that happen? That is the real inquiry. Yeah? The meaning of self-inquiry is to take you away from why this horrible thing is happening in my life to this highest truth. Yeah? Why did I get out of that pool of consciousness? Why did I say the first I? By ending the sorrow through intelligent means by obviously going through jnana, the agni of jnana, intelligent means, and by direct knowledge or experience of the supreme truth. Through meditation, when you actually experience it, there is nothing that can beat it. Nothing. Yeah? Your vairagya, your abhyasa, your inquiry, everything falls short in front of the actual experience of the truth. These are just means to get to that. That is the main thing, the actual experience of the truth. Yes? So just a scripture will not take you there. Yeah? Just a guru will not take you there. Just sitting and doing pranayama, bhastrika, om kriya is not going to take you there. Unless that experience, you actually go deep into it, yeah, and experience it. Yeah. Okay, you can read ahead.
I have a good comment on it. So, even when you say all these things, my mind is getting so agitated. Just to listen to all this, because all along there was a clear path, right? You follow the guru, you do this, and then there'll be a guidance. Now you come and say that, hey, this is not how it is. You have to drop it. As if you know that the picture has changed in your head.
I'm taking away even the last straw that you were holding on to.
I have many straws. I'm not talking about the last straw. But if you take right now, like right at this second, just listening, it's so confused. Okay, now do I go and see Guruji or no? Shouldn't I go? Like the wonder is just increased because okay, I'm not gonna get that, then I shouldn't go and see him. Okay, following the scripture, I'm not going to get it. And if I just ask this question, how did this life force begin? How much will I have to run behind this question to get that answer? You know, I give up. It's so easy, like I can just see this trajectory going down. Just in 5 seconds.
Even giving up will not take you there, no? Giving up will definitely not take you there. See, you are trapped big time.
I'm not trapped. That is the worst part of it. That is the worst part of it.
Yeah, giving up is not going to take you there. So giving up is totally out of question. It's not even an option. Yes? He's saying at least take one of these paths. Someday you will hit the truth. Somehow you will hit it.
No, but no, see, once you say that all these are just tools, and then self-experience is the only experience, then if you don't say it, then it's different. Now you said it, now your mind is always going to be, oh, even if I practice it, I'm not going to do it. What's the reason?
No, it's not that the practice will not take you there. You don't know what will take you there. Yes? So maybe practice takes you there. Why is this said? Understand the reason now. Because some people get stuck onto words and just stay there the whole life. Some people hold on to a master and stay there the whole life. I'll tell you a true story about Ananda. Ananda was Buddha's best disciple. Yeah, and it is said that Ananda's journey to enlightenment was really quick, really amazing. He was the best. But the biggest obstacle on his path was who? Buddha. The day Buddha left his body, Ananda got enlightened. Are you seeing this? This is a word of caution given to a disciple, that once you pick up tools, know them as tools. Do not hold on to them thinking that this is it. Then you will stop progressing. Yes? 2 or 3 pages ago also Vasistha said this. By reading scriptures you are not going to get there. By going to a master you are not going to get there. These are tools. The real thing is you sit down and meditate and go within. One day you will hit that rock bottom. One day that mind will drop. Yeah, maybe meditation works for you, maybe pranayama works for you, maybe Guru's company works for you. You don't know what will work, but something might work. Yeah, so you continue using these tools very well knowing that they are tools. You got it? They are a means to an end, not an end in itself. What is required?
Banana is required.
Banana, yes. Do some banana. Yeah? So always look at them as important tools. Yeah? Otherwise there are so many people, no? They are stuck. They are not progressing because they have held on to spiritual tools and thought this is it. But no, the only thing is the experience of the truth. You have not reached till you climb all the way up to the top of those steps. You cannot stop at a step and say this is it. No, you have to get to the top of the staircase. You have to get to that landing. And that landing is only one. The experience of the truth, of Satyam. Yes? Okay, we can read ahead now.
It is possible for the mind to assume the existence of intelligence in a stone, but the mind does not possess the least intelligence. Movement belongs to the life force, which is inert. Intelligence, or the power of consciousness, belongs to the self, which is pure and eternally omnipresent. It is the mind that fancies a relationship between these two factors. But such fancy is false, and hence all knowledge that arises from this false relationship is also false. This is known as ignorance, Maya or cosmic illusion, which gives rise to the dreadful poison known as world appearance.
Okay. Yeah? It is possible for the mind to assume the existence of intelligence, even in a stone. Yes? So see what Parashakti or Maya can make you do. This is the power of Maya, clearly. Yes? That the mind can even assume intelligence in a stone. But the mind does not possess the least intelligence. Movement belongs to the life force, which is inert. Intelligence or the power of consciousness belongs to the self. Yeah? Only the self has that power or intelligence. Yeah? whereas movement is of the life force. Intelligence or the power of consciousness belongs to the self which is pure and eternally omnipresent. It is the mind that fancies a relationship between the two factors. Which two factors? The life force, prana, and intelligence belongs to the self. So self. Yeah? But such fancy is false, he's saying. And hence all knowledge that arises from this false relationship is also false. Yeah? This is known as Maya or ignorance or cosmic illusion. When you start thinking that intelligence is actually something that belongs to something which is inert, like the mind. Mind or prana cannot have intelligence. Intelligence is of the self. So this is a wrong assumption. Do you get it? The mind thinks that even a stone is intelligent. Stone is inert. Yeah? Something that is inert cannot have intelligence. Intelligence belongs to the self. This relationship is a fancy of the mind. Got it? Yeah. This is the power of Maya. Maya makes you think this is beautiful. Maya makes you think this is intelligent. Maya makes you think that what I am thinking is very sensible. Yeah? Maya makes you think I am better than the other person. Yeah? That which is inert, I am thinking is intelligent. This is the power of Maya. Got it? What he's trying to say? He complicated it quite a lot. But it's very simple.
So basically there are no 7 layers of existence. There's just self.
Yes. Absolutely. Bullseye. Yeah? That's what I told you, no? In the beginning of the path, we say something else and it changes as you move. To understand this, you had to understand that there are 7 levels of existence. Yeah, till the basic course, we don't even understand, oh really? Intellect is separate from the mind, is separate from the memory? Yeah, we started looking at these faculties more clearly. We came to this understanding. And now we are going back to that all this is just one. It doesn't exist. Last paragraph.
This relationship between the life force and consciousness is imaginary. If it is not so imagined, there can be no world appearance. The life force, by its association with consciousness, becomes conscious and experiences the world as its object. But all this is as unreal as the experience of a ghost by a child. The moment within the infinite consciousness alone is the truth. Can this infinite consciousness be affected by any finite factor? In other words, can an inferior entity overwhelm a superior one? Hence, O Rama, in truth, there is no mind or finite consciousness. When this truth is clearly understood, that which was falsely imagined, as the mind comes to an end, it appeared to be because of imperfect understanding. When this misunderstanding ceases, the mind also ceases to be.
Yeah, this is so beautiful. Perfect wrap up today. Yeah? This relationship that we see between life force and consciousness means what? I think that there is a relationship between that Purusha, that consciousness within me, and this body or this Prakriti or this Maya. Yeah? This relationship itself is imagined. So obviously all this is imaginary. For example, when you are dreaming in the night, you imagine so many things. But that is all false. It does not really, that relationship between you and that beautiful woman in your dream does not really exist. It's a fancy. Just like that. Everything that I am experiencing right now, all the people that I am experiencing, all the drama that I am experiencing as this body-mind complex called Ekta, and I am associating with it, this association itself is a false fancy. It's not true.
So that means being a witness in a way.
Yes. The moment you separate yourself from the actor and be a witness, you will start really experiencing the truth. What I'm saying, no? Experiencing Satyam. That is the only way. Separate yourself from the actor and just be a witness. There is no other shortcut. Yeah? That's when you see that all this is just a fancy. Yeah? It's just made up. There is no relationship with it. Yeah? It's like waking up. When you wake up, you realize, oh, that beautiful woman in the dream is not there anymore. There is no relationship between the person who was dreaming and the object in the dream. Just like that, you will wake up from this dream called life. Yeah? That is the real waking up. That's exactly what is said in this paragraph. This relationship between the life force and consciousness is imaginary. If it is not so imagined, there can be no world appearance. Yeah? If you had not imagined it, all this would not be. Your husband, your wife, your kid, your family, your parents, your house, everything you have imagined. That is why it is. The life force, by its association with consciousness, becomes conscious and experiences the world as its object. Yeah? But all this is as unreal as the experience of a ghost by a child. The movement within the infinite consciousness alone is the truth. Yeah? You are only dreaming. Wake up and see this reality. Can this infinite consciousness be affected by any finite factor? Yeah? It is infinite, no? The ocean is infinite. Yeah? If you take one bucket of water away, does it make a difference to the ocean? If you add 10 buckets of water, does it make a difference to the ocean? That one bucket or 10 buckets, that's the finite factor, and the ocean is the infinite factor. Got it? So we'll read that again. Can this infinite consciousness be affected by any finite factor? No, no. In other words, can an inferior entity overwhelm a superior one? Can your bucket overwhelm the ocean? No. Hence, O Rama, in truth there is no mind or finite consciousness. When this truth is clearly understood, that which was falsely imagined as the mind comes to an end. What is the truth? There is no mind or finite consciousness. This is the truth Vasistha is telling you. That's all that you have to remember. There is no mind. This is your homework for the week. Again and again remind yourself, there is no mind. Think about this. There is no mind. Repeat to yourself as many times as you can. there is no mind. When this truth is clearly understood, that which was falsely imagined as the mind comes to an end. It appeared to be because of imperfect understanding. When this misunderstanding ceases, the mind also ceases to be. The entire spiritual exercise is to move from mind to no mind. So make this your homework for the week. There is nothing like the mind. The mind does not exist.
From Manaha to Namaha.
As they said, from Manaha to Namaha. Yeah? That's your homework for the week. Yeah? Any questions? So I'll give you homework. You can read the next page. Page 151 is more like a repetition of all the pages that we have read so far. Yeah, just one page you read. Page 151. But read these previous 2 pages also. Very important pages. Revise the 8 equations that we did today. Yeah, and read page 151. Yeah, and I'll see you next week. Jai Gurudev.